Hey everybody, how's it going? It's Jamie the Crafty DIY Guy. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be focusing on all Dollar Tree. Literally everything in this video today is a Dollar Tree DIY. We've got 3 different projects here that you can easily replicate, and I don't think anything in here costs more than $5, literally. Not including like paint and glue, which most of us have that stuff on hand already. Hey, this is also a special video because it is part of a mini Dollar Tree friend hop. So be sure and follow the link below and hop on to the next video in the hop. Also, before we get started on that, I wanted to say thank you to all of my subscribers, my long-termers, my short-timers, my people that are just checking me out for the first time. Thank you guys so much. Hopefully those of you that aren't subscribing will stick around and become a subscriber, and you'll hit that notification bell wherever that thing is and be notified every time I post a new video. I try to post on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. Sometimes there's a bonus video on Sundays too. All right, let's get started. All right, everyone, and for project number 1, I'm going to be using a set of these galvanized numbers from Dollar Tree. Also, I'm going to be using 3 of these wooden boxes from Dollar Tree. Also, you can find all of this in the Crafter Square section. If you have some twine on hand, that would be helpful as well. First thing I'm going to do is take my wood boxes. You're going to go ahead and remove those drawers, and you're going to glue those 3 boxes together on top of each other. Now, Crafter Square and some of this stuff is not exactly level and not exactly the same size sometimes, so you may have to play around with that. I think for this one I got pretty lucky, and my 3 boxes actually are the same size and the same width. As you know, that sometimes doesn't always happen. So after you've glued all 3 of those together, you can just set this aside and let that dry and begin working on your drawer fronts. So for the drawer fronts, I'm going to go ahead and drill a hole in the front of them, or what's going to be the front of them, but rather than going directly in the middle, I'm actually going to go off to one side. I'm going off to the left side here, and this is the only drill bit that I could find. Ideally, I would use a bigger drill bit, and I just went through and just kind of wiggled the drill bit back and forth to make those holes a little bit larger. And then you can see here, I'm not really measuring. I'm just kind of eyeballing on where those holes are going to be. I think I actually did a pretty good job just kind of eyeballing it. So once again, of course, you want to be careful whenever you're working with power tools or anything. And again, just kind of wiggle that hole around or get a drill bit that's actually larger. So now that I've got everything set up, I am going to go ahead and take my cube tower outside and paint those. And I'm painting them black. And then for the drawers itself, I'm going to be using this Minwax Express color. It's a tinted stain that I really love working with. What's great about it also is that it's water-based, so the cleanup is super easy. I'm just going to take a staining cloth, and for the sake of time, I'm just going to be doing the sides and the front of my drawer. You could certainly do the entire drawer inside and out if you wanted to. Again, this is totally up to you, and I'm just doing that so I don't have to wait all night for everything to dry. And after everything was dried, I went ahead and I took my drawers, and I'm just going to feed some twine through here. I did end up going with something that was a little bit thicker than the previous bundle that you saw. So go ahead and just tie a knot in your twine itself, and then trim off any of the excess. I just grabbed my Lineman Pliers. They were handy. And then for this next part, I am going to tie another knot in this, and I'm going to make sure that that knot is very close to that wood surface as well. I just kind of want this to have kind of an industrial look. I had some doorknobs and different things like that, but I just wanted to have something very simple and just kind of cool looking for the industrial look that I'm going for. Now for my letters, or my numbers rather, I'm going to go ahead and take those and I'm going to pull out the 1, the 2, and the 3, and I am going to hot glue these to the front of my drawers. Now, if you wanted to make sure that this stayed, obviously you should use something like a super glue. I'm just going to use my wood glue real quick for this, and it's going to be perfectly fine for the sake of the demo. After you've got all 3 of your numbers glued to your drawers, they make a very cool impact by themselves. Insert them into your block tower, and you've got the coolest looking industrial organizational cube thingy that I think is super fun. I was able to take mine, put it in the bathroom. I can store Q-tips and cotton balls and dental picks and things like that in there. Again, super cool. I think this could even be a very cool jewelry box of some kind, and I think that this is just pretty awesome. Oh, I am super excited to be collaborating today in this Dollar Tree mini hop with all three of these wonderful ladies. Be sure and follow the link below and hop on to the next video in the hop. For my next DIY, we're going to be using a package of these shells from Dollar Tree. You can get these in a variety of different sizes, but you want to be sure and look for a package that has one of these longer shells in it. I really like those and love that idea. Also, I'm going to grab some white twine or some cream colored twine, and then one package of these iridescent beads that I picked up from Crafter Square at Dollar Tree. So the first thing we're going to do is take our seashells apart, and I am going to pick out the perfect seashell for this project. For this one, I want to have something that's going to hang at the end of my garland or end of my kind of beaded tassel. And what I'm doing is going for something that has that angle, and I think that this one is going to be absolutely perfect. Next thing I'm going to do is take my cream colored twine, and I'm actually going to add some hot glue to the end of it. Adding some hot glue to the end of it is going to actually help stiffen it up a little bit, and it will thread your beads and your really any kind of beads that you're doing. It's going to thread them so much easier. And just go ahead and let that harden, and then once it does, you can start threading your beads. Now, I decided to go ahead and add some of these pearls that I actually forgot that I had on hand, and I'm going to be including these with my garland. Now, the pearls you can find at Dollar Tree as well. They're kind of in the Crafter Square section sometimes. Sometimes I've seen them very, very randomly in like the garden section, which totally doesn't make sense to me, but hey, I'm not the one merchandising the store. So again, I am going to now be using the pearls as well as those iridescent beads. And as you can see, threading these actually works really, really easy once you do have that hot glue on the end of your twine. And now I'm just going to go ahead and add 2 pearls, 2 iridescent beads, 2 pearls, 2 iridescent beads, and just kind of alternate like that back and forth. You could certainly do a pattern if you wanted to. Originally, I was going to do like 6 beads and then 2 pearls and then 6 blue beads and 2 pearls, but I decided just to keep this kind of interesting and just kind of a little basic, I guess you could say. Now, for that shell that has that opening on the end, that is actually going to help you a lot. What you want to do is take some of your twine that has your beads on it, and you're just going to kind of ball up some of the twine. And for this one, all I'm literally going to do is ball up the twine, and then I'm going to stuff it inside that shell. Literally, it is going to be that easy. And as I'm stuffing, I did add a little bit of hot glue down on the inside of that shell, and then I'm using my glue gun to kind of help force the rest of that twine down inside there. And as you will see, this will hold really, really well. Now, I do want to caution you, your shell is going to get hot when you put hot glue in there. So just be mindful of that when you are doing this project. After all my beads are threaded, I am going to go ahead and take a piece of twine and create a tassel. I chose to go with this kind of darker colored twine versus using that cream color because I want something that's going to kind of pop off of the shells themselves. So I'm just going to make a simple tassel by wrapping some of the twine around my hand. I'm going to then pull it off. I'm going to cut it, pull it off, and start to tie it to the end of my tassel. And then just doing a couple quick loops and trimming down the bottom, I've got a tassel at the end of my garland. And when it's all done, this is what it looks like. I really love how simple this is. I think that it's kind of a cool touch of summertime without being overtly like beach or nautical. You don't see a lot of ships and anchors and buoys and things like that. This is just kind of a very simple nod to that nautical, that very classy and almost an elegant design that I really, really love a lot. Last DIY is probably one of my favorites, and it is so easy. All you have to do is take a glass from Dollar Tree. You want to use a real glass from Dollar Tree and get something that's got a heavier bottom. And then, of course, with the Dollar Tree sticker, you know how that goes sometimes. Sometimes you can remove it really easily, and other times you get something like this. Well, I did ultimately end up taking my tape gun to it, or my my heat gun to it, and kind of warming up that sticker and peeling it off on both sides. You do want to be careful doing this though, because if you hold your heat gun too close to that plastic, it's actually going to melt that plastic, and you definitely don't want that. and it does not smell good either. So I'm going to take my drinking glass. I did manage to get most of that tag off of the bottom of that, and I'm going to add some E6000 Quick Hold. This is just like E6000. It is E6000, but it's their quick hold formula, so it actually starts to dry within 30 minutes, and I love that because I don't have to wait all night for it. Within 30 minutes, you can certainly start working with your project. You'll want to wait, though, at least 24 hours before you do anything real crazy with it. But again, what I love about it is within that 30 minutes, you can start to do some light adjustments to your project if you want to. Go ahead and take your plastic garden bowl from Dollar Tree and just center it and glue it straight down. I did add a little bit of weight in there just to make sure that it was good and set. And for mine, because I wasn't ready to paint it right away, I actually did let it sit for 24 hours. And now it's all dry and ready to go, and we are ready for the next step, which is to paint. So I'm taking this outside, and I'm actually going to be using a texturized paint. It's almost like stone, and it is by Rust-Oleum. It is a it's textured paint is what they sell it as, and it's available in a lot of different colors. I went with kind of a dark brown, and as you can see, it is not exactly sticking perfectly to the glass or to the plastic for that matter. So heads up, you'll want to go ahead and do very, very light coats, and then come back after it's dried and add another coat. And then let that dry, and then come back again and add some more paint to it. And that will eventually build up those layers. The paint has a liquid of some kind in it that just doesn't adhere right away to plastic. Just be patient with it, be slow with it, and you'll have a gorgeous bowl that ends up looking like this. This is very modern looking. This is very high-end looking. You see a lot of these types of bowls in places like Pottery Barn and very similar stores like that. I just added my Dollar Tree Buddha, some Dollar Tree wood pieces, and a Dollar Tree candle, and put it on top of some books in my living room. And again, I love the way that this looks. And it's so simple. It was $2. As a reminder, this is a Dollar Tree mini hop, so be sure and hop on to the next video. The link below in my description box will take you to the next creator's video. Thanks so much, everybody. I appreciate it.